I don't trust my child, who in the world will believe it? At that time, he had to work for a year at the most, so he bought a very small room in Bangchindong, Seoul. That day, I finished my tiring work and went home, and everyone else had a tiring day. We were drinking soju together in the cart bar. At that time, a little boy walked out of the cart bar. I don't even dress properly. The child's mother was probably playing a cart bar. Her mother also had a rough voice, perhaps because of her life. Soon after, his mother comes out and yells at him in an evil voice. "Hey, bad baby. Why are you making it harder for me when I'm so tired? Come on. Come on." He hit me 3 or 4 times on the buttocks. The child was beaten up by his mother and cried. My life was hard at that time, but at that moment, I looked at her mother one more time. What am I doing to my son? I thought I was not like that either. Before the dispatch, I was working so hard on the battlefield of life that I didn't know if I was a colleague or an enemy at my workplace in Changwon, South Gyeongsang Province. On that day, when I came home from work, my son asked me to buy him a new crayon. So I asked you to bring the crayons you used. Bunny had used up all the colors her son liked, but the other colors were still useful. So I said I'd buy it if I used all the other colors. I thought it was to teach children how to wait and what saving is, but one day, I went home and found my father-in-law. Then I went into my son's room to find something, and his face turned pale and he hid something. I'm saying, "Dad, you're wrong." So I took what I hid behind me and it's a new crayon. If despite my father-in-law's presence in the living room with my own thoughts, I told my son to bring a club because he thought he had done something wrong because he wanted a new crayon. Even though his son bought it just right, his stupid father beat him with his own guess. I had asked him how he bought this. He and I wouldn't have been so hurt. During my military career, I was taken to the Capital Corps, CID, and to district headquarters because of my superior's absurdity and had to endure severe torture and assault. Because of the injustice, I even thought that coveting other people's goods would be like exchanging them for my life. If I couldn't get rid of my injustice, I would have given up being a man of this world. I ended up as a reference, but... So I hoped that I would never do such a thing to my beloved son, but he felt unfair. My maternal grandfather gave my big grandchild an allowance and told him to buy what he wanted. The father thought that only the experience of his life was right and nailed his beloved son's heart. My son said that he would buy me a new crayon after using all the other colors, but he didn't ask my dad about it, which was my son's fault. I didn't even know what my son liked. You said he was a loving son, but I know how much he was guilty of not trusting my son. I'm sure that's the same with the cart bar mom. It's so hard to make a living right now that I don't know what I'm talking about to my son and I hit him. If I don't trust my son, who in the world will believe my son? I know that my parents are to blame for all my son's mistakes. Wouldn't that be what the environment did for children who were called troublemakers at school? Isn't it all because I didn't trust the other person?